So one, let's say a paradigm, a perception. Most of the Germans or most of the people living in Germany having, and probably we too, that 90% or 100% Indians come to Germany from IT background. See, first of all, let me also clarify this statement. Many companies says the family. Whenever somebody come in the company, they say, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm strongly against that part. Don't think that we are considering anybody as a family. The companies working for P&L, profit and loss.
Exactly. Bottom line.
Correct. If tomorrow if company will lose, person will be out.
That's
but
right.
in the family, even if you are not earning, so your family will still accept you.
Yeah.
They will not throw you out.
They will not throw you out.
You're still there. Your father, mother, your wife, your son. Even if you're not doing anything, they will be with you. But company, come on.
Yeah.
You'll be out.
You out.
Hello guys, thanks for joining us again today. It's always a pleasure to welcome you guys and have this conversation. And I think today is going to be absolutely brilliant. We have an amazing guest today here. And I'm very interested to hear his story and to discuss his career and life path with you guys as an expat that he is living here in Germany. He has worked across multiple countries. We were talking about that in the background. Across different sectors as well, and I really want to take a deep dive into his brain to discuss with you guys and to share his experience with you as well. That would also be really helpful as well, because I think there's a lot he has learned and there's a lot he has been able to maneuver, which would be of great use to. That I think it would be of great use to not just me, but also to our audience as well, that want to find like a way to navigate career path and professionalism here in Germany specifically, to be honest, and also if you're an expat anywhere in the world. So not to talk too much, I'll let my co-host here just say something. I don't know what he's going to say. And then we can then welcome our guest, Rohit, afterwards.
Since we're only facts and we only deal with facts, I thought of it that every time I should come on the podcast, I should have one interesting fact for our audience, actually. Something that they did not know.
Yeah.
And for today, I think I'll start with Uganda. Did you know that Uganda speaks over 50 languages? And it has a population of 45 million people. Think about it. Over 50 languages. Crazy.
Yeah.
So, that is one fact about Uganda that most people maybe did not know. But I'll come with other facts, maybe more German related. And for today, we have Rohit, and I don't want to take much of his time. Very nice to have you here today.
Oh, perfect. I think, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. And I'm willing, I'm looking forward to this podcast.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming. So I think, just to go about it real quick, so can you please tell us, let our audience know a bit about you as well, and then we can then dive into, your career path. But first, I think they need to know you as a person. So please, not a job interview, but yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Let me also introduce about myself. But
Absolutely.
yes, I will not go the interview mode.
Yeah, please don't.
So yes, I'm Rohit, and I'm working as a vice president in one of the EV charging industry based in Frankfurt. My family is also living with me in Frankfurt. And means from education background, I'm mechanical and automation engineer, and I worked across more than 30 countries.
Wow.
Last 6.5 years, I'm working in Germany, based in Frankfurt. As I said, working in the EV charging industry. Here, I'm almost now handling, or let's say, leading a team of 35 colleagues across Europe. And last but not least, I said, looking forward to these discussions.
Amazing.
Quite curious. In all these 30 countries you've been to, has it all been work related or maybe also vacation?
75% yes, work. 30 to 40% yes. This has also been, let's say, a kind of trip with the families. But 70% it was linked to the business. To my work.
Yeah. So just okay. So I know just before we go further, I always ask this very curious question that I ask every expat that I meet in Germany. How is your German level? So just tell me that, and then I'll move on to my next question. Actually, yeah. So how's your German level?
See, if somebody is coming in Germany,
Yeah.
and then if he or she want to work in Germany, you don't need to learn German, especially if you're in the IT sector. But if you're not working in IT sector, and if you are willing to grow to the leadership roles, you have to learn German. And not only learn, you have to master the German. And that's how, let's say, I learned German and I became fluent in less than 18 months. So I will not say that I'm a native speaker. I'm not a Muttersprachler. But yes, I can speak good language. I can communicate. I can negotiate. Talking to the stakeholders, working and environment. Yes, I can talk in German.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing because again, I mean, that's one thing I struggle with as well, to be honest, is improving my German. What's your secret, or what's the secret behind how you learn your German really fast in 18 months? Because I think that's pretty impressive to learn German to at least C1 or deep conversation and negotiation level in 18 months. So what's your secret? What did you use? So I can maybe apply that as well to improve mine. Yeah.
See, as I said, if you just want to survive in Germany, yes, you can survive with English. Very clear, right? But if you want to lead, you have to learn German. There is no other way out. And one of my motivation to learn German, as I said, starting from very beginning when I saw, especially when we are come from the country like Asian, the Asian background, sometimes we are being misinterpreted as assistant or back office guys. And I also felt that when in the beginning, when I came to Germany, and that was a moment that I realized that if I have to grow, if I have to learn, I have to, master the German. There is no other way out. In fact, while leaving my previous Germany, it was a German organization called Voice and Siemens, very renowned big company. When I was leaving the company, one of my boss, her name was Heike Bergman. She came to me and said, Rohit, when you send your child to the Kita or gymnasium or wherever it is, make sure that he learn fluent German, especially when you are living here for a long time. Otherwise, he will always face the consequences. Because here in Germany, they will not differentiate between refugees and expats.
Yeah, true.
So that's hit me very hard.
Yeah.
So yes, I learned. I let my son also learn because he's also now 10-year-old living in Germany. So his German is in fact better than mine as well. So yeah, that is some of the motivation to lead and to work in Germany.
Yeah, amazing.
So Rohit, you're Indian born.
Correct.
And you've lived there before, or you've worked in different companies, or you've been in the IT sector and so on before navigating all other places. So could you take us through how was you being in India? Which line of work were you into, and what were you doing before coming to Europe, or before deciding to move to Germany entirely?
So one let's say a paradigm, a perception that most of the Germans, or most of the people living in Germany having, and probably we too, that 90% or 100% Indians come to Germany from IT background. Unfortunately, I'm not from IT background. So let me also break that paradigm. And this is also I want to break, because many times, I said, it's a kind of perception that Indians come only from the IT. They are very good in making a code. They are good in computers, but no, they also great in leadership roles. And especially me, as I said, I come from mechanical and automation background. I worked in the hydropower sector for more than 12 years with one of the energy company. And then I've been into 3 continents: Europe, Asia, Africa, traveled 30 countries, learned a different culture, techno-commercial side, and so on. Then after 12 or 13 years, I received an opportunity to work in Germany, whereas the business area was Africa market, Eastern Africa market. And that's how I came to Germany, connecting Europe from India to Africa. So basically, our job was to deliver a project in Africa, whereas the manufacturing was located in India and the headquarters was in Germany. And that's how I landed up in Germany.
You are a mechanic, not okay. So that is something that I confused. Mechanic. Okay, I'll get that right.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, that's amazing though. So I think what has been your most difficult aspects of navigating, around like these different continents, these different countries? What would you say has been like the most difficult aspect of like moving and being in these places for you as an expat? Because one, you're transitioning, not just job, you're also transitioning, in terms of meeting people, in terms of the culture, and everything else as well. So what would you say has been like the most difficult aspect of it?
So let me be precise. When I talk, as I said, being in several countries, there are two aspects: culture and language. These are two most, because in terms of business, yes, because we are working business for more than 17 or 18 years, so that one can still cope with. But language, difficult, especially each and every country has their own language, and that too, second is also the culture. Each culture have their own plus and minuses. I will not say better or good or best, but everybody is different, and especially when we talk about Germany.
Yeah.
And when I came to Germany, one of the biggest challenge which I see, and I think most of the expat or professionals stuck there, is bureaucracy.
Oh, yes.
So if you look into the stats, as per the times.com, 1/5 of work time is wasted in bureaucracy. And if you convert in numbers, 146 billion euro is wasted in bureaucracy, which is almost 3% of German GDP. And that's what somehow even, the biggest shock for me. But I try to do something opposite from what is being, what is the biggest challenge there. So when I came to Germany and when, I joined a company, I found out that a lot of customer escalation just stuck for more than 7 days because of compliance, because of legal, whatever it is. I reorganize the structure. I make sure that we have a callback mechanism. I make sure that we have, all the strategies that somehow our response time reduced from 1 week to straight away to 6 hours.
Wow.
And I still remember one of the email which is sent by, an old lady to our email support system, that the first time I saw that somebody, giving such exceptional services in Germany, which is breaking this bureaucracy.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So would you say during the rise of your career, right, to your leadership role now, would you say being, in Germany specifically now, do you say, you're being an Indian, your skin color and your background, has this played an impact or restricted you in terms of your career growth? Or you say, or these hasn't really played any role basically in terms of how you moved up the ladder, career-wise?
See, if I would say no, I would pretend. So answer is yes, definitely. This color has impacted.
Yeah, it's impacted.
Impacted the growth. Impacted even the perception that people see, towards us. So that's the reality. I will not, I will not say no. I will not shy away. But yes, as I said, there are challenges like this that one faces in the country. But then I did not, let these challenges bombard me with a lot of pressure. I let it the other way around. Somehow I could work with the people. I could make my own allies internally, as well as also choose my mentors. So at one point of time, I remember that I had 3 mentors across the 3 countries, which was helping me for more than 12 months. So one has to choose a specific methodology to make sure that you come out of this, any kind of this challenges that you face because of your color.
Nice. Honestly, I think, this conversation for me right now is very exceptional because again, I love to see, how people have transcended over these challenges and have grown and basically, make those challenges their drive and their fuel to basically push them forward and push them further. Yeah. So I would say for you, being a leader, right? Because this is also something I've also seen as well. Is sometimes the people, your colleagues that you're leading, there can be some discrepancies in terms of this. Okay, what did this person know coming from an Indian person, right? Or coming from a Nigerian person, right? So again, it's also something I see as well, from my perspective as well. So how do you handle those challenges, within the work environment as well? So that's one question. And then I'll move on to my next question, which is basically maneuvering office politics as well, right? Because that's one thing I'm definitely not good at because I'm just free with everyone and just trying to be the ideal colleague, basically, right? So, but also something that I've noticed is there's always going to be like kind of office politics, but the thing is, how do you like navigate these as well? So that's the other part of my question. So one is, how do you make sure you show to your colleagues that you're leading, okay, that, you know, even if I'm Indian, it doesn't make me difference if a German is in this position as well. So how have you navigated that?
So first, answering your question, that when I've been promoted to the leadership position, means whether somehow the team accepted me, or how did they see that in terms of behavior. So when I've been promoted to the leadership position, there was a kind of skepticism. People were not confident that whether this is the leadership material or not, because coming from Asia, coming from India, and then leading a European is always a skepticism. And then as I said, my hack or my policy or my fundament is to convert this skepticism into trust. So what I did, I personally met each of these team member across 20-25 countries, online, on site. I met all the stakeholders myself. Even I went to the sites on site to see what's in the actual ground situation. In nutshell, I made my hand dirty, and which helped me to convert this skepticism into trust. And people started to trust me, and then they started to open their heart with me. They started to openly discuss with me. And I also promoted specifically, if you have any challenges, come back to me. Speak up. Don't just stay quiet. Because specifically, when you're coming from Germany, there is a culture called respect culture. If somehow your colleague or your teammate argue with you, it's considered as a disrespect. And Germany is the other way around. If your team member is not arguing with you, that means something you are doing wrong.
Something is wrong
there. So I always make sure that they always empowered to ask questions. So that is one of the fundamentals which I use. I converted this skepticism into trust, and that is one of the strongest part that somehow I could implement. Politics is a very interesting area. It's not only in Germany, it's India, it's Africa, it's Europe, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And let me say what I'm saying, and maybe you don't agree, maybe many will not agree, but person has to master the politics.
The arts?
I would say you have to play politics, but positive politics. Now, there's always a difference between politics, because we consider politics, negative politics as a politics.
As a politics, true.
That's a misunderstanding. The negative politics as a politics. But the reality is, without politics, if you see the whole world now, it's all based on the politics. Right?
Absolutely.
So you have to, but you have to follow positive politics. When I say positive politics, what does it mean? Negative politics, yes. If you are, talking about somebody on his or her back.
Gossiping. That's negative.
Yes, you're right. That's a negative politics. Or if you are, trying to, somehow put somebody down, that's also a politics. Talking about color, that's also a politics. Yes, these are all some negative part of the politics. What is positive part of the politics? I think most of us use LinkedIn. I don't know if... When somebody is writing on the LinkedIn about the company, about the boss, about the project, what it is. But first of all, what is politics? Politics is nothing but influencing.
Yes, influencing other people.
Politics is nothing but influencing other people, right? So either by writing on LinkedIn, aren't we also influencing? We're still influencing, right? Company would say that you're trying to influence other people about the company. We are doing it, right? But the only thing is we are doing positive influencing, positive politics. In our own interest, in our company interest. So I see politics, if you are doing certain things for your own sake and company's sake, where you both can be benefited, I don't see any problem with the politics. But when you put somebody down, yes, that's called as a negative politics, which I am totally against.
Okay. Rohit, there is something intriguing, with you being in a leadership role, it comes with a lot of challenges and a lot of aspects. Comes with either positivity or people that are very optimistic about you, like what we've just, or people that are entirely have a different picture of you. So what is that one risk or that thing that you had to, maybe that risk that you had to take, and everyone else maybe saw it as some sort of craziness, but it and then ended up maybe working out or not working out. Do you have anything that you think, hey, this was something that I had to do as a leader?
See, something that I had to, let's say, leave as a leader, especially when I learned, because I am born and brought up in India, right? 12 years I've been a part of the Asia or Africa to some extent. Coming to Europe, there are different method, different behavior and so on. So one thing I had to let it go, which is my obedience. Obedience, what does obedience means? Yes, sir.
Okay.
In India, even in Asia, to some extent also in Africa market, yes, sir is quite often culture, right? Hierarchy is in our blood, in our DNA, right?
Yeah.
So these two things, I have to let this go. And that's something, somehow, it helped me, because I started to say to my team that if you have any doubt, if you have any problem, any challenge, please confront me. Do not just say yes. We can say, why not? So that is something I changed in me. I'm still changing in me, because it doesn't go overnight. It takes time, In fact, I remember that just 3 weeks back, in let's say in open, we call it the open meetings, let's say town hall meetings, 100 people, one of the teammates said, I do not agree with your strategy. If this would have happened in India, it was a career suicide. Trust me, this person was out of the company most probably, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, so I totally agree with you, because honest to God, I was having this conversation with a group of people the other day. This is our same conversation, that one of the biggest problems why we're still a bit behind in Africa and in some Asian countries is because we put too much emphasis on hierarchy. Your boss is like, sir, ma'am, oga. So in Nigeria, we can only say like oga, madam, right? So we put too much emphasis, and then when your boss tells you something, you just go with it rather than having an honest conversation with them. So again, honest conversation doesn't mean you have to be rude, right? It's just having an honest conversation on the strategy, on what, on the task, on the responsibility, on the way forward, regarding a specific topic as well. That's what we don't do so much in Africa or Nigeria specifically, or in Southeast Asia, like India as well, because it creates lack of initiative, lack of fast-paced development and rapid growth as well, because that's what they do here, because that's what I realized. And again, like you just said, I'm also letting in a way to kind of break down that too much emphasis on hierarchy level than, and putting more emphasis on open communication and honest conversation about what you think the best path forward should be. It's interesting, and I think, I agree with you, this is something we need to unlearn for us to be able to move way, way further, and for you to get ideas from like people as well. Because you see this, someone like down the level can have like a brilliant idea which can be implemented, as well. But that's the point. I just wanted to say I totally agree, and I see from your point of view, that part as well.
But there is something you mentioned earlier that I did not get really well, and I would love you to highlight more on it, because you meant you also got in and you made your hands dirty. How did you make your hands dirty? There was just something that I did not entirely understand, and I wanted to.
See, I worked in, let's say, customer satisfaction area, right? Today, I'm a vice president, customer services. Okay. So one thing is that I could lead the organization with spreadsheets. I can make P&L strategies. I can make how the service network look like. I can make how our people should work, what should be their efficiencies. And then there is another ways that I lead from the field, that I need to be on the field. And that's how I traveled most of the sites, myself. I see how the commissioning should take place. I see how the maintenance should take place. I see how the customer is, because when the people will go to the site, people is not waiting with the red carpet. They are, they already bought the products.
And how are you creating the balance? Because I'm managing you having that role, that requires you also to be maybe 70% time in the office, trying to
Correct.
make sure that everything falls into place. But at the same time, you want to be in the field.
Do the operational stuff
How
and the
are
nitty-gritty
you
as well.
managing that?
See, that's a very interesting question. But yes, I had to have two hats. One hat which is the field jobs, okay, and one hat sitting in the, let's say, a kind of boardrooms and presenting my KPIs in front of the board. So you always have this balance. So one thing which I learned, let's say, from several leaders across the world, the work that I can do, it does not mean I have to do it. Right? Yes, certain jobs I had to do it to learn what is being faced by the people on the field. I had to have this learning, but at the same time, I had to focus on something which is the bigger purpose, right? I had to present in the board the KPIs. And the last time, just 1 month back, when I presented my KPIs to my board, which is almost exceeding 40% of the market average. So as I said, in nutshell, we have to have a balance between both. You have to be on the field. At the same time, you also have to be in the board meeting to represent your results.
Wow, nice. That's absolutely intriguing, and I think that's honestly it's very motivating as well for me personally. So I think I want to go back to just one step backward, because we brought up India into the conversation, how it is their work culturally. So, but I want to understand, how you were brought up, how you grew up in India. If you can just also share a little bit of that story as well, because I think maybe it can also give our audience a bit more insight into you as well personally.
Yeah. So yes, I born and brought up in India, mainly in Delhi, in the very small city called Adarsh Nagar, in the north part of Delhi.
Is it now the capital? Sorry.
Yes, Delhi is the capital of
Been
India.
switching from Delhi to Mumbai and Mumbai to Delhi.
Come again?
There was a switch in between there. I think from Delhi to Mumbai and Mumbai to Delhi. So that was confused, and everyone.
Very intriguing, and I think that's honestly it's very motivating as well for me personally. So I think I want to go back to just one step backward, because we brought up India into the conversation, how it is their work culturally. So, but I want to understand, how you were brought up, how you grew up in India. If you can just also share a little bit of that story as well, because I think maybe it can also give our audience a bit more insight into you as well personally.
Yeah. So yes, I born and brought up in India, mainly in Delhi, in the very small city called Adarsh Nagar, in the north part of Delhi.
Is it now the capital? Sorry.
Yes, Delhi is the capital of
Been
India.
switching from Delhi to Mumbai and Mumbai to Delhi.
Come again?
There was a switch in between there. I think from Delhi to Mumbai and Mumbai to Delhi. So that was confused, and everyone.
Okay.
Ahmed was saying no Mumbai, no Delhi. So that's why. But sorry to interrupt.
No, yes. So I born and brought up in Delhi, in a small part of Delhi, as I called Adarsh Nagar. And then I went to one of the, let's say, a small, first of all, started with the school, which is also the local community school. I've been studying there for till 10th class. So in India, it's different from Germany, first of all.
Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe in the other countries as well. So unlike in Germany, in India, from class 1 to class 10th, everybody study the same subject. Whereas in Germany, after 4th class, you have to change the subject. You have to choose the subjects. Either you go to gymnasium, you go to Realschule, you go to Hochschule. You have the three, different category. In India, no. Until 10th, you all study in the same class. And I did the same. After 10th, then yes, we have to choose either science, economics, other subjects. And then I choose science. After we call it a medical, non-medical. So we call it a non-medical. That means medical means you're going to the doctors, or non-medical if you're going to the engineering.
Okay.
So after that, 12th class, there was a big pressure to choose IT. From parents, from society,
Absolutely.
from my peers, everybody was 98% people around me choosing IT.
Choosing IT.
And that too, I'm talking about 2000, almost year 2002, we are talking about, okay, and 2007 when I took my engineering. And then I choose. And I remember that one of the, counseling I went with my mom. And then she was also asking me, Rohit, would you like to take IT? And I was said, no, Mama, I do not want to take IT. I'm sorry, because if I would take IT, I'll be collapsed. I'll not be able to, because I did not want to do coding. As simple as that.
Yeah.
But she understood. She said, Rohit, okay, decide whatever you want. I'm with you. And then she let me decide. Because I had basically at that moment of time, I had two options. Either I choose the engineering, or I could also opt for my father's job. Because when I was, let's say, 15 or 16-year-old, my father suddenly, he passed away.
Oh, so sorry.
So then that time, but that was a government job. In India, you still have an option that if your son or daughter can take that job.
Yeah?
Yes. So that time it was an option.
Yeah.
At that an option. So my mother decided no. She said, okay, go for engineering. Okay, because she was also, she was working in one of the government jobs. She said, no need to go to the government job. Go to the engineering, accelerate yourself and grow in your future. And then finally, she also let me decide, okay, take mechanical engineer. I took my mechanical engineering, and afterward, again, the 4 year in mechanical engineering, joined one of the company called Voith & Siemens. It was a German company. And then I spent almost 12 years in this company. And then I got, let's say, ample of opportunity, I said, from the hydropower sector. I've been to more than, I said, 20-25 countries from that specific field. I've been to Africa, more than 15 countries in Africa. I've been to Asia, even again 5 to 10 countries there, and also been in Europe. So that was a tremendous journey and exceptional learning growth from that field. And then afterwards, I received an opportunity to come to Germany, and where I've been a part of this EV charging industry. And then from there, I moved from the coordinator position to the vice president position.
Vice president position.
Oh, that's it's a huge step.
Yeah, an incredible step, incredible career so far. So now what I want to also dig into is also your experience. So now, professional career on the side now. How has your personal experience been in Germany so far? Because again, you moved here as well. At least luckily you moved here when you were a bit older, and you've had experiences internationally as well. So how was your initial experience in Germany as well as an expat coming here and living here, generally speaking?
So coming to Germany, definitely, especially in the beginning, it was a big shock in terms of culture, in terms of language, in terms of behavior. In terms of the expectation, there was a big difference. In India, if you are, let's say, a kind of let's say SME, subject matter expert, you can still rely on many other colleagues. You can still you can work around. But here you are expected to take the lead from yourself. Okay. The language, definitely, as we already discussed, even if you are coming from English-speaking background, that's not enough. You have to learn German language, right?
Yeah.
Then one of the things which is also a bit shock is also punctuality.
That's a big adjustment.
So every country has their own parameters. In India, if you are late for 10-15 minutes, okay, it's a traffic jam. In Africa, probably the same. In other Asian countries, everywhere. But in Germany, punctuality is rated very, very high. And that's something I have to learn. And that's how I still, I made sure that in the last 6.5 years, there is not a single meeting where I did not arrive 5 minutes earlier. And that's something that I integrate and imbibe in myself. That what is the traits, let's say the local traits needed, to integrate and grow. I did my best to, accelerate all the skills.
Wow.
Amazing.
Rohit, go ahead. I'm asking you to speculate a bit. So, I know it might sound a bit crazy, but do you think that, we discussed this already, but do you think you being an Indian also played maybe to your advantage as well in acceleration to the posts that you had, simply because also, he's an Indian, outstanding. Not a lot of people could manage this. Did it maybe in one way or the other play a role that people saw you as that one masterpiece because I've had an interaction with most people, and they think that, okay, if Africans, for example, if they're good at something, then they are very good at it. I don't know if that is the same perspective that they have on other races and so on. But do you think in one...
See, it depends. It depends. So currently, if you see globally, there are several leaders, I would say, globally who are leading the giant companies. If you talk about Microsoft being led by Satya Nadella, if you talk about Google, is also being led by Sundar Pichai. If you talk about IBM, you talk about, let's say, YouTube. There are several giant companies are being led by Indians. So definitely there is a perception change about Indians, which also helped me to some extent that yes, Indians are hardworking, Indians are dedicated, Indians knows, specific areas, let's say specific service linked, execution linked areas where they can do better. So it helped me. It helped me because one part is that you're getting the opportunity, and one part is that how you grasp the opportunity to work on it. But first you have to have opportunity. And then if the perception about the community, is positive, then the gatekeepers would open the gate for you. If the perception is not very good, most probably the gates will not be open.
Will not be open, yeah.
So answer to your question, yes, it helped me. There's this new perception about the Indian leaders definitely helped me. But at the same time, one has to learn the local, the local aspects here, so that one can also, exponentially grow.
And in the same regard, but a bit twisted, or in the other way around, at certain stakes or at certain point, do you think that it might have also brought in a bit of negativity that might have something to do with your work colleagues, that it took maybe a bit longer for them to accept you, or you might have been confronted with a certain aspect maybe in your field, and someone maybe underestimated your ability or your capacity to deliver because of maybe by judgment of your skin tone or your skin color?
And many times. Many times. Even when I took this leadership role, even one person came and asked to me, Rohit, when the things got tough, will you leave the country? Because it's a natural tendency. It's a human tendency. Because one side, yes, as I said, about the perception about Indian leaders, that yes, one can lead. But the other side, there is still a skepticism. It's not that everybody will accept you as if you are. No, you have to create your own position in the market. You have to make your own personal brand, and that's what I did. I master specific field, renewable field, EV charging field. Today, I am leading a division which is impacting 1.2 million EV users across Europe.
That's huge,
right? So then I had to make my own personal brand there. So yes, it does impact. People will challenge you, but then it depends upon you. How fast you can convert this challenges into trust. How fast you can prove your worth to the company. At the end of the day, if you can add value to the company will also give you a value in terms of money, in terms of position. But if you can't deliver a value, doesn't matter, if you have been given an opportunity, you will be kicked out very soon.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Nice. So, so just following up on that, basically. So, how did your colleagues so because you said you started from a certain position within the company. So, I think I forgot what position, basically. And then before you move on, you stepped into the VP role. So, how did your colleague react to that promotion of moving into the VP from the controller position that you were at?
So, it's a normal tendency. Somebody is coming from the different regions and taking the leadership position. People always have some kind of doubts.
Yeah.
In fact, they are not ready to accept easily, especially the locals, because they consider that you are taking their job. Let me be very blunt. The German system is not designed for people like me who would like to lead.
Thank you. I see it that way.
It's absolutely clear. It's not being designed. Unlike USA, Canada, Australia, where the identity is being defined from the diversity. Germany is strongly focusing on their history, their languages, their culture.
Yep.
And that's the result that if you see all the corporates, German corporates, when they hire somebody or promote somebody, they focus on the local roots. Unlike other countries, because they focus only on the growth and they focus on the performances, results.
Yeah.
But it's totally different here.
That is a very important thing, because honestly, I've had different views on this, but I think you've just confirmed this feeling that I've always had, because I feel like regardless of where a person of a different race is, there will be always someone higher. At least you'll be an assistant, you'll be this, but at least there will be a German put above you to supervise that. Yep. Good that you've confirmed my doubts.
Yeah. So but I think I think the good thing is it's gradually changing. It's gradually changing. The only problem is Germany are very slow to accept changes. So again, I mean, I still don't know if that's a positive or a negative yet. Since I've been here, but I think it's a sort of in the middle ground, basically, right? So I think at least it's a good thing it's changing. At least I wouldn't say a couple of years back, someone like you wouldn't have this opportunity in Germany, basically, right, to be the VP of a specific, of a division within the organization as well, within the German organization. So I think over time we're beginning to see this, and I think it's changing and it's moving gradually towards that aspect.
But there is a question I still have to that very colleague point, the colleague thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, or can your colleagues at work be your friends? In your own experience in Germany?
Colleagues, maybe. I will not say yes, fully yes, no. Because, especially in Germany. Because, see, first of all, let me also clarify this statement. Many times, even beyond friends, many companies says the family. Whenever somebody come in the company, they say, welcome to the family. And to be honest, I'm strongly against that part. I don't think that we are considering anybody as a family. The companies working for P&L, profit and loss.
Exactly, bottom line.
Correct. If tomorrow if company will lose, person will be out.
That's
but
right.
in the family, even if you are not earning, still company will accept you. So your family will still accept you. They will not throw you out.
They will not throw you out.
You're still there. Your father, mother, your wife, your son. Even if you're not doing anything, they will be with you. But company, come on.
Yeah.
You'll be out.
You're out the first minute. No, Rohit, then my thing is, so meaning do you believe in the so-called, I quote unquote, Augenhöhe? Or you don't? Because
what's
Augenhöhe will be like German, would be like speaking on the same level. So we have a boss, we have a hierarchy that we follow, or we have a boss, and then the boss comes all the way down to meet you at this level that you all speak at the same level. That the conversation, the communication between you guys is at the same level. Do you believe in that?
I think it's changing. I must say that now this perception is changing. Earlier, yes, the hierarchical structure was very, very strong. But now I think over the period of time, with the industry, with the new startups coming up, it's changing. And the leaders are also coming at that level where they're also, nowadays, it's not about, let's say I'm VP or you are field application engineer or you're manager. No. Nowadays, it's almost the flat hierarchies, flat structures. And then people see in their eyes, as you said correctly. Now, people are not considering themselves as a boss, but they're considering as a partners. And that's what I could see that change in trend, either in German companies or in the other companies as well. And I think slowly and gradually, this will further improve.
So from I think this is like always a very unique question I ask people. So from your perspective, what hierarchy do you prefer? So do you prefer the flat hierarchy or the triangular hierarchy, sort of managerial, or company structure, literally, like we just discussed?
See, I would let me answer in a different way, because when we saw about hierarchy, there are three different kind of leadership. One is that autocratic leadership or the position leadership that you received as a part of your title. If I'm VP, I'm authorized, to delegate or to decide some things. Then second is empowerment leadership, that I empower somebody or I delegate somebody to be in a position that he or she can decide on their own. Third is the knowledge leadership, that how much knowledge one have. And we all are working, let's say, the full time, let's say in our companies.
Yeah.
You might have seen that some people might not be at the senior level, but still they can influence the whole company. Why? Because of their knowledge leadership. So coming back to your question, I think nowadays it's less of hierarchy, but it's more about the knowledge leadership and more about the servant leadership. That if you have knowledge, you can influence people. You can lead the world. If you have, let's say, a kind of power to empower somebody, yes, then you will be respected. So, and that's what, my team also said to me that, Rohit, we do not, we do not call you boss because, you are our boss, but we are somehow following you because you listen to us. And that's what you need to do. Nowadays, it's not about talking, it's more about listening.
Wow. Amazing. So, honestly, I think I would say for me personally, I hope it also, has an impact in, on our audience as well. I think especially because we have a lot of expats in Berlin, from Indian descent, from Nigeria, and from other parts of the world as well. And I think this would be like a very unique exposure to how to navigate some of these things. Because I think also one thing I've also noticed as well in Germany as well is, for example, some people don't want to take the leadership title position, and then like you just said, they lead from the knowledge base. They'd rather be there or have that title, not lead anyone, but just influenced by knowledge. So, but I think also talking to you give an exposure of how to also, if you're in a leadership position, how to maneuver that aspect of it as well, and how to deal with people, how to deal with your skeptics, those who believe in you, those who didn't support you initially, how to handle all of those as well and convert them to your side from every different aspect, different angle, from knowledge, from the good kind of office politics. From understanding the culture as well. So it's been really, really great talking to you.
Before we
I'm not closing.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm not closing. I'm not closing. I was just giving him his accolades. So for that, I really want to ask though, 2 questions. What has been your best day and your worst day in Germany so far, since you've been living here for almost 7 years now?
My best day.
Yeah, best and worst.
My best day, I would see again, thanks to, first of all, Krishna. In India, Krishna we call as to the God. God, to family, to friends, the blessing of all. So last year, again, thanks to the profession and thanks to, as I said, to the family, we bought our own home near Frankfurt in Langen. So I would say that was one of the best day for us, that after 6.5 years in a short span we could buy our home.
Amazing.
So that's something is we cheer all together, professionally as well as personally. Then worst day, I would say that I saw the worst day. Not in Germany even, because the professional span is almost 18 years. So I saw the worst days even, outside Germany as well. So, and then I do not see as a worst day. Whenever I had certain challenges, I see as a day where I could learn more. I see that this is an opportunity to learn, right? And then, yes, there are challenging days. I would say not worst day, but challenging days where I have been challenged. Let's say somebody, considered me as as I said, when I came to Germany, somebody considered me as an assistant. Somebody considered me as a back office guy, So yes, those, and then it shakes the confidence. Yes, those were the days. But then, as I said, it's depend how I take it. Whether I wait for the, let's say, a kind of affirmation, a kind of confirmation or validation from someone, or I took it in my hand and then change myself, and then grow. And that's what I did. I did not wait for somebody to give me a confirmation or give me a validation. I took my own way. I did not fit into the system, but I stand out in the system.
Oh, amazing. Thanks a lot.
My second last question would be, well, what is the future, or what do you think, how bright is the future of electric vehicles in your mechanic perspective?
Yes, I would say definitely there's a bright future. Currently, if you see in Germany, there are more than 120,000 EV chargers are already being deployed. That means on an average, every 9 or 10 kilometers, you have now a charger.
Yeah.
Means there was still, let's say, a kind of confusion. There is still, let's say, a kind of range anxieties that the car cannot still drive more than 400 kilometers, 405 kilometers, but that are also being addressed gradually. Then likewise, there are also policies that government is trying to implement, in terms of incentive that is also being increasing now. And at last, and that's, the bottom line. At the end of the day, we had to get rid, our dependence from the fossil fuel. At some day, this will be finished. So we have to have something alternative, which is the, let's say, EV charging or EV electrical vehicle. We have to, let's say, focus on our climate preservation. So that's the only way. Yes, there could be some other technologies like hydrogen is coming up. Yes, there could be other technologies coming up. But we have to move slowly and gradually either to the EV, to the renewable sectors to make sure that we get rid of this fossil fuel dependence.
Okay. And my last question would be, if you look at back all the way in India, would you have made a different decision if you had to?
Regarding coming to Germany?
Career path. Yeah.
No, I think so far the decision I took, I really believe in my decision making. And I think so far, if I see the growth, whether inclined growth, whether vertical growth, horizontal growth, even, with regard to my family, wherever they are at the moment, that my son is living in, along with us in Langen in Germany. And then he's already been in 4th class and now he will go to gymnasium this year. I see the growth from my wife, professional. So if I see from all the aspects, I believe that this is the best decision that I could take.
Your family, how did they react to all of this? This is a huge change to them.
Yes, in the beginning it was very tough, because my wife was working back in India.
Yeah.
And then she had to leave the job and come with me. And that the difference between India and Germany, you have all the luxuries available. You have house help, cleaning the cleaning cleaning your house, somebody coming to my home to clean my car. To somebody's, I have my beard every week, which is, being trimmed. And now we are doing everything on our own.
On your own. Yeah.
So in the beginning, it was very tough, to fit in, at least in this day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I had to listen every day from my wife. What you did with us? Why did you bring to us? Yes, but I was slowly and gradually, integrating into the culture. And now we start to love, the environment. We start to love, the no pollution there, good transportation connectivity, good education there, even in terms of, let's say, the hospital. So we have a good ecosystem here.
Yeah.
Definitely there are still some things which might be better in India. That could be there, and that is there. Okay. But now the decision coming to Germany, we found it is one of the great decisions.
Yeah, amazing. So I think I also have two final questions. All right. So one, because now you're VP of basically customer communication.
Yeah.
So because I wanted to ask, how did how it was transitioning from mechanical engineer, and also being hands-on on like the operational stuff of that aspect and transitioning to customer relation now, because I think there will be a disparity of changes between those positions or those, or the job description, I would say. So how did you navigate that as well from your
See, as I mentioned
experience?
That if somebody has to grow in Germany, you have to take a specific path, okay? And what is the weakest, thing in Germany? What is the weakness of Germany? Poor services.
Yeah, poor services.
Poor services.
Yeah.
Today I booked a Deutsche Bahn to come from Frankfurt to Berlin. It's supposed to be a smooth, the travel.
Yeah.
At the last moment, the platform changed, and then everybody was running with their suitcases to the different platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, the train is delayed by 45 minutes. Technical snack, which is now every day. You go to any restaurant, and if you see the body language from the person standing there is no smile there, right? It's so arrogant. Okay, take it or leave it, kind of thing. You go to Bürgeramt. It is meant to be for the people who are coming from outside. They should be able to speak English. No, kind of English. Ich kann nur in Deutsch sprechen. And then the person who just landed in Germany, he's feeling, this feed.
Yeah.
And then that was a point I coming. So that's why I choose the path to be in the service industry, because there I believe that I can bring the change. I can, bring the exceptional services to the customer, to the industry and to the country, which can make a significant difference and which will help the country as well as myself to grow in the industry.
Yep. Amazing. So, I think the other question I wanted to ask as well is, what do you envision for the future? For your, if you want to tell us your personal future, amazing as well. You can tell us what you envision there, and also what you also envision for Germany as well. Going forward for the future. You can also tell us from the perspective of your career. You've told us why you choose it, which I think is absolutely brilliant, because you wanted to improve the service, the service ecosystem in Germany as well. So in all of these different categories, what do you envision for the future for Germany and for you personally, and the service industry as a whole?
See, when you talk about vision, I focus on 4 factors, which is first, starting with let's say a kind of health. That is the most, one has to be healthy if you really want to pursue your vision. Okay. Then you talk about your career. On career side, as I said, currently I'm working at the vice president level, and my future is that I would like to impact even the wider audience, even the wider people. And that's how probably if I would get a chance to work, let's say, the social side or political side, I would be very happy. If that could help the future generation, could help the let's say a immigrant, or would help, let's say, a natives there, I would definitely like to stand out in that area. And last but not least, I would like to make sure that all, let's say, the points which are still, needs to be improved in Germany, as we talk about service industry, whether we talked about, about the bureaucracy, we touched about, all such topics has to be looked into and has to be, answered. And that's my vision, for the future. One side family, and other side is also the professional world. And in the favor of the people.
Yeah, amazing. So because so talking about the English, the conversation where in the background, where they don't speak English. I don't know if you've seen one of our viral video where one of our guests mentioned it, that is strange, just like you said, that they will tell you that they don't speak English when it's a foreign office, and you the purpose of that office is to deal with foreign people, and people are just arriving. So she got a lot of backlash, basically, right, for saying this, which I felt it wasn't justified, because people missed what she was trying to say, or there was a misconception, and we should just also delicately put as well into this conversation. So I think it's
in relation
but I would be blunt. But I would be. That's a reality.
Exactly.
It's a reality. If you've been in the this behode, and people coming from my side, and then you say, okay, keine English, nur Deutsch. Come on. How did you expect that? So that's to me is, and that's again, I link to the service industry. Because we have to be, if you really want to grow as a country, you have to be service, you have to follow service leadership principle. You have to be, you have to give exceptional services. Otherwise, there is no chance that you can grow as a country.
But Rohit, I wanna. Sorry,
sorry, just finish. I'm just following up on your, on the future question, basically, because you mentioned, you might also, I think you mentioned you also want to, be able to benefit a lot more people. So you planning on going into politics at any point in time? Is there are you talking from that direction that you would also like to go into, something, the political aspect of helping people, I would say?
See, let me divide in 2 parts. One is the leadership. I think, especially when we talk about Europe, it's overdue for a long time that the leadership from Indian leadership is visible in Europe. Whereas if we talk about, outside Europe, let's say we talked about Google, we talked about Microsoft, we talked about YouTube, you already see the Indian leaders. But that's overdue here, because Indians can add, more, let's say, depth. Indians leaders can add more, let's say, a kind of diversity. They can add the global perspective. So yes, I think the leadership part it's coming. It's coming very soon. It's a matter of fact, as I said, when the gatekeeper opens the door, and then also people have to also claim the seat. Coming to the politics, as I said, I did not plan to be a vice president or to that role.
Yeah.
The same way for the politics. If it is for the purpose of people, if it can benefit, the future generation, our children, whether native or immigrant, definitely I would stand out.
Amazing. Thanks.
Rohit, it hurts me that I have to drag you a step back, but I'm going to wait for the sake of this, because this one of the backlashes that our previous video with our guest had was that, hey, these are German officers. Do you want them to speak English in German offices? So I'll pose the same question to you. Quote unquote, do you want them to speak English at German offices?
See, as I said, it depends. If somebody is coming, let's say in Bürgeramt, as an Auslander, we call it as an Auslander, right? Then they must speak in English in the beginning. Yes, over the period of time, as I said, somebody would learn German in 1 year, somebody 2 years, somebody 3 years, somebody 4 years. It's fine. That you will promote language, which is fine. If you want to, preserve the language, which is perfectly fine, no problem. But in the beginning, when somebody is coming from outside, you cannot expect that he start to speak German from the day one. Is it that somebody coming to India or somebody coming to Asia, somebody coming to Africa, and they start to speak, from the day one the local language? It's never possible. So that's why I put it straightforward that you cannot force somebody who is coming from outside, especially in the initial days, to speak in German language. Yes, over the period of time, yes, that's perfect. That if one has to integrate and one has to, plan for the long term, yes, I think then it is must, especially when you want to grow to the leadership role, you have to learn the local language.
Oh. Understood. Brilliant, actually, brilliant. Yeah. So I think we've had a very, very intense and interesting conversation so far. And I hope, our audiences enjoy this as well, because I absolutely did. So I think unfortunately we don't have so much time, but I think it was a very impactful bit of conversation. So I think before we go, I think it would be interesting if you can give some final words to other expats living in Germany, not just Indian expats, also if you're Nigerian, if you're Cameroonian, if you're Senegalese, if you're Chinese, Filipinos, American, Canadian, whatever I suppose you are. So if you can please give your final words, so it can be a word of advice, a word of encouragement, just from your perspective.
I would give 3 golden rules. Anybody who is coming to Germany, or in fact in Europe, whether from China, whether from Africa, whether from East Asia, or from India, anybody coming, 3 golden rule one has to follow here. Number 1. Speak the local language, which is must. Number 2, reclaim your seat. Okay, claim your seat. Okay. And last but not least, also very important to me is, do not take anybody's confirmation or validation. Be proactive. So if you follow these 3 golden rules, I'm 100% sure that you will achieve the exponential growth in your career in Germany.
Wow. Amazing. Thanks a lot, Rohit.
Thank you.
Amazing conversation. Thanks for joining us today and sharing your experience and your insight and your intellect and and your wise words, I would say. So thanks.
Right, so Rohit, you say claim your seat. So can you highlight more on that?
This is what I was, emphasizing. As I said, one has to, claim your seat means if you follow, if you, let's say, learn the local skills, learn the language, if you learn this, let's say, if you work on your leadership skill, if you work to learn, for example, AI, IT, whatever, you are working on. And if you see that you are confident, if you see that you put your hard work, then do not hesitate to claim your seat because you are an outsider. If you are following, the local rules, you're focusing the law of land, you also have an equal right to claim your seat. Do not say, because I have a black skin, or if I'm coming from Asia or from a different land, then okay, I'll always be a second or third in the leadership. No. You have all the right to claim your seat and go towards higher positions. That's what I always say. Because I see that people always hesitant and resistant. No. Because I'm not German, because I don't look like a German.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. You need to claim your seat. If you can compete, if you have the skills, if you work on you, claim your seat.
Amazing. Do you have any last words?
No. I think Rohit said it all. So I don't think anyone else need any other encouragement after that. So we appreciate you being here, and you guys, please go in the comment section. So share some of your experience, share some of your ideas, and and any key points that you would like to add on, or I'll talk against. We encourage open conversation, like we initially said, and we encourage discussion as well in between. Yeah. So that's all from me.
Well,
I would say
I cannot add on it as well either. I mean, from the last 3 words that Rohit has just hit us with. It has been a pleasure having you here, Rohit, and thanks for the bravery and the experience that we shared. And this is from a person with experience as worked his way up to where he is. And yeah, with those last 3 words, I cannot add on more. I can only say from Onlyfacts Studios, more will be seen. People like Rohit who have worked their way in Germany in that shortest period of time, and they have accomplished it all. So you'll see more videos to come. We are Onlyfacts Studios, and follow us, of course, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Go there and subscribe. Let us know in the comment section what you think. X, do not forget. And
yes, sir. And also, so Rohit, so because again, we try to basically give people like you like the wider exposure as well, because I think it's important. People also get to follow you, also get to interact with you personally via social media, and also get to learn and hear from you more. So because we try as much as possible to bring in a lot of experts who has specification in various field leadership roles, professional experience as well. So if you can share, I don't know if you have Instagram handle, so if you can share as well. So because you also create some content as well similarly to this, so that people can also go there and learn and see your videos and get this sort of motivation and experience as well. So if you can share your Instagram with us, we'll try to put it in every description, but you can also tell it, you can also mention it now if you can, basically, if you can.
Definitely. So my Instagram channel is Success Mantra, Patra Vision. So if you would like to lead a global roles, please follow me.
Okay, amazing. So we will also put that in our description as well.
Thank you.
Have a video. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Rohit, thank you so much again. And living as an Indian in German has been a topic for today, and we've been with Rohit. Thanks again for coming. Onlyfacts Studios, that has been from us, and see you in the next episode.
one. Yeah, bye.